Welcome back. 12,000 television writers in the U.S. are on strike. They're at war with billion-dollar entertainment corporations for a bigger piece of the pie. This is not a story of interest to U.S. audiences only, because if it lasts long enough, this strike will affect TV, movie, and computer screens around the world. The central issue is internet content, how much it's worth now and what it will be worth in the future. In a twist worthy of their profession, the writers are using the medium at the heart of the battle to make sure that the world knows what they're fighting about. And sometimes the material that makes it online is funnier than the shows they're not working for.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Daily Show. My name is Jon Stewart. Thank you. My name is Jon Stewart. Thank you. Thank you.
American television audiences have a collective sense of déjà vu these days. Some of their favorite programs, The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, The Late Show with David Letterman, and Jon Stewart's Daily Show all have a stale air about them. Because the people who write the jokes for America's favorite funny men are on strike.
If the writers are actually working now, I would be hilarious. I would be hilarious right now. But look, see, they're all closed mouth, so obviously I have nothing to say. I am an empty shell waiting to be filled in by the material written by these folks.
First, it was the topical shows affected. Then drama and comedy series stopped production. Shows like Ugly Betty, 24, Desperate Housewives, The Simpsons, Grey's Anatomy, and The Office. The striking writers are still churning out material, only now they're writing about why they're on strike. And it's appropriate that since this is a conflict about the internet, that's where they're posting their material.
You're watching this on the internet, a thing that pays us $0.
This is what the writers in the studios are arguing over. Usually, when viewers watch a show over the internet, advertisements are embedded into the streamed video. The WGA, the Writers Guild of America, says its members are entitled to some of that ad money, the same way they are when the shows are viewed on TV.
Every time their work was used, there needed to be a payment. It's very important that that principle is continued into the present day, because the writer is the ultimate creator. Without the writer, there is no cinema film. Without the writer, there is no television episode. Without the writer, there is no creativity. So it's absolutely imperative that the writer gets properly rewarded for his or her work.
Denied by the labor dispute of the chance of putting their work on television, the writers have poured their creative energies onto the World Wide Web.
I'm a writer boy, WGA. I walk the picket line for hours a day. You know the writer girls won't be ignored, cause we all know the pen is mightier than the sword.
Hello, and welcome to what is obviously not The Daily Show. I'm obviously not Jon Stewart. I'm Jason Ross, one of the show's 14 writers.
In case anyone doesn't really know whose side they're on, here's a hint: the giant media empires are not the good guys.
There are advertisements that Fox is making a killing off of because they're embedded and you can't skip them, and you're forced to watch them if you want to watch the show. How is a computer different than a TV? God, I'm funny.
What's that? Viacom is suing YouTube for $1 billion for using its content online? $1 billion?
However, the studios argue that the streaming technology is too new and the streaming revenues are too uncertain to allow them to commit to paying the writers for that. But if that's the case, the writers counter, why have the studio heads been telling their investors there's gold in that their internet?
It's about $1.5 billion in digital.
Viacom will double its revenues.
It is certainly one with golden opportunities.
When they talk to Wall Street and their investors, of course they have to say, you know, we have a fabulous new future ahead of us, we're going to earn lots of money on the internet. So they are, and the writers pounce on that and, you know, say, well, you know, you're lying to us, etc., etc.
Either that, the writers say, or the media conglomerates are lying to their shareholders, which is against U.S. law.
It is your right as a stockholder to receive truthful answers from these companies. Please call Investor Relations today and ask them to explain how they can promise profits to you while telling us that it is too early to tell.
From a PR point of view, the writers clearly have the upper hand in this dispute. They've brought out celebrity supporters, actors who have backed them, both on the picket line and on the web, in videos that say without the writers, actors are left speechless.
Where's the punctuation?
For their part, the studios have taken out full-page ads in Variety and The Hollywood Reporter, the two Bibles of the entertainment industry, but have otherwise remained so quiet on this conflict that the writers have taken to putting words in their mouth through fictional executive fat cats.
There are some of our shareholders, some of the people on our board of directors, who, if the strike goes on another few weeks longer, they're going to have to start flying commercial.
Yeah. For the makers of television and films, this is a very, very difficult time. Perhaps the hardest time in their history, in fact, because they're stuck between the old world of VHS and DVD, well, mainly DVD now, which is sort of showing slowing growth, but they haven't yet sort of jumped into the new world of the internet and downloads and so on. So life is very unpredictable and difficult for them at the moment.
The last major writers' strike in 1988 lasted long enough to cost the industry $500 million. This time around, the stakes are higher, the technology and issues more complicated. However, the good news is that thanks to the medium that's at the heart of the conflict, this strike is considerably more entertaining to watch. More Global Village Voices now and their take on the writers' strike story.
As independent entertainers on the internet, we are more than happy to step in and fill the breach for anybody who can't find anything to watch on television. We've seen our viewership double since the beginning of November, and we hope the writer's strike comes off and everybody kind of gets to go back to work and make the good shows, but the days of people having to watch bad television, bad reruns, bad reality shows are over.
Some people think the writers are just greedy millionaires looking for more money. And some people think the strike isn't going to affect them. They're not involved in the television industry, so who cares, right? Well, let me tell you, it will affect you, okay? Because you watch the shows they make, and if the strike goes on for too long, maybe the shows won't come back. Give in to the writers' demands.
If they had gone on strike when new media first emerged through the internet, they would have looked ridiculous because at that time people were still trying to figure out how to make money from the internet. Now is the time for them to strike.
Finally, as the YouTube catchline says, every strike needs a hip-hop anthem. Earlier, we ran a few seconds of the Writer Boy video in our story about the writer's strike, but it's a very clever piece of work that's getting hundreds of thousands of hits on the World Wide Web, and it's making a star of a heretofore anonymous writer named David Schlussel. So we're going back for a second helping. Writer Boy is our internet video of the week. We'll see you next time at The Listening Post.
I'm a writer boy, WGA. I walk the picket line for hours a day. You know the writer girls won't be ignored, cause we all know the pen is mightier than the sword. Writers Guild, WGA. We write the lines that the actors say, and the writer girls won't be ignored, cause we all know the pen is mightier than the sword. Yo, producers, what you taking us for? A bunch of crazies? It ain't our fault your ratings will be pushing up daisies, cause we're down for the fight. Mono a mono, we ain't fading the black like the last soprano. You don't need my girl Patricia as your medium to know that your lineup will be tedium, and all your viewers will be gone without a trace, cause you'll be playing reruns of Melrose Place. I'm a writer boy, WGA. I walk the picket line for hours a day. You know the writer girls won't be ignored, cause we all know the pen is mightier than the sword. Writers Guild, WGA. We write the lines that the actors say, and the writer girls won't be ignored, cause we all know the pen is mightier than the sword.